Wow, Nintendo, your conference sucked. When the highlights from your conference include Miyamoto doing some crazy dance thing on stage with a stuffed Pikmin, and a third-party zombie game, Zombie U from Ubisoft, then you know you're having problems. Sure, Reggie was on stage again this year, and yeah, he mentioned how his purple Pikmin body was ready. Ugh. But even that deadpan delivered joke couldn't save the rest of the show. Opening with a funny reveal for Pikmin 3, the show just went downhill from there with only a speed bump from Zombie U to slow the descent. Alright, yes, Nintendo did show off Super Mario Bros. U for the Wii U. It looked good, but it's Mario. Everyone has come to expect a Mario game to look and play well, especially the 2D ones. It's kind of hard to screw that formula up. Scribblenauts was a bit of fresh air. The game allows you to change properties of objects on the fly and utilize the Wii U gamepad to custom build your own devices, which was quite neat to behold. But the problem here is that Nintendo still just doesn't get it. It's nice that they're at least trying to cater to the core gaming audience out there, but when the games they're showing off are largely old releases that have been out for a good half a year already, then the magic is gone. Come to think of it, many of these games will be nearing a year since they were originally released, assuming the Wii U arrives this holiday season. They spent far too much time during their show to showcase a couple of new, ultimately gimmicky gameplay mechanics in the Wii U version of Batman Arkham City. For a company that said they had far too much to show off in just one conference, they sure spent a ton of time talking about games that have been out for a while already on other platforms. Various montage videos did show off a few other titles for core gamers, but it seemed like a good 50-50 split between games that were already out and actual new titles. They also spent a crapload of time not talking about the Nintendo 3DS, which they've apparently moved to a separate showing on the web a day after their actual conference. A couple of standout titles were Sing from Ubisoft, essentially a karaoke title that will probably be a huge hit with teenage girls or those who throw a lot of parties. As mentioned, Zombie U was another standout title, also from Ubisoft. This is honestly the only game showcase that seems to have been made for the Wii U, where the controls don't simply look like they're tacked on or gimmicky. Finally, Lego City was also quite charming. It's Lego in an open world-like environment as you go around trying to solve crimes. It's a Lego game. They're typically solid releases and fun for any age range. First-party offerings seemed a bit more sparse, though they did include a new Paper Mario reveal and Luigi's Nightmare, a sequel to Luigi's Mansion. No price nor release date was given for the Wii U. A new Zelda title was not shown off, no Metroid, nor really anything else of note. Oh, they did spend a ton of time on Nintendo Land, this magical theme park where you and your pals can meet up and play where essentially a collection of minigames for the Wii U. That was their big closer. Assuming you ignore the digital fireworks at the end of the show, also courtesy of Nintendo Land. They didn't end with a price, nor a release date, nor any big game reveal. They ended on a collection of minigames. I think Adam Sessler summed it up best when he was shown facepalming after the event during a discussion with Game Trailers TV's host, Jeff Keighley. Sure, the tech in the Wii U gamepad seems cool, but that's before you realize that both Microsoft and Sony have their own solutions for this. Microsoft has Smart Glass and Sony has their crossover between the PS3 and the Vita. The difference here is that both Microsoft and Sony don't really require you to go out and buy a new piece of hardware in order to use these new crossover services. With Nintendo and the Wii U, you have to buy a new console and gamepad combo to see this functionality. It's nice that they announced that the system will now support up to 2 Wii U gamepads instead of just the one as was previously revealed, but it's still quite disappointing when you see that the competition has their own Wii U-like experience on the horizon, using tech many people already own in their houses. Maybe the Wii U will win over the hearts and minds of those who want more of a social aspect in their gaming experience. They did showcase how a lot of messages, tips, help requests, and even images can be shared between Wii U users from all over the world. That's a fairly novel idea if it's heavily moderated, of course. I'm sure if it's left to an open environment, the Wiiverse is just going to be filled with poorly drawn dick pics. It's sad and perhaps a bit telling when Nintendo's YouTube page featured an incredible amount of full-length trailers for the Wii U and 3DS that were barely even mentioned during their conference. Instead of showing these games that very obviously had trailers ready, they focused on spending far too much time on old games and Nintendo Land. What a complete and total disappointment. With this, we wrap up our look at the big E3 conferences from E3 2012. This has been Zips with Total Gaming Network and CS Nation. Remember, all views are my own and may or may not jive with yours. Feel free to leave a comment below on what impressed you the most from any of these conferences. We'll catch you next time.